Giants was Pat's idea. It really started when he was let go from the Canucks at that time, and we were just having lunch at a White Spot in Park Royal, and Pat had just had hip surgery, and he was recovering from that, and we were just talking about, what are you going to do now? And he said, I don't know, maybe I'll fall back on my law degree and start going into that profession, and which I think he would have been one of the ultimate litigators of all time, just with that presence he had, and his delivery. And
the arguments would have been short.
Yeah, I think so. I think he would have done okay in that field too. But so I said, I don't know what, I'll look into it, because I was at the Tri-City Americans at the time. So I started going down that path. And at the same time, Washington was on a run, and George McPhee invited him to come to Washington for the Stanley Cup Finals. And he saw it with George in his press box in Washington, and met Mike Smith there at the time, and Mike basically hired him to coach the Toronto Maple Leafs. So then he was preoccupied with that, and 3 or 4 years later, I was tired of going to Tri-Cities and felt that this market was ready for it. So talked to Pat about it, and he said, yeah, I'm in, so let's do this. So and Gordy had been on a number of fishing trips with us. We were talking about it with actually him and Colleen was the one that said they'd love to be part of it. So with those two guys on board, I felt pretty confident that we had a shot. You just look at the success he had with the U18s, the U20s, and all the stuff people, impression that he was old school, and it was so far out to lunch on what Pat really was. He's a coach, and he walks into our rooms and starts talking, and the fire in him, and it's what he is. And going in this last summer, where we went through the coaching thing, he was really involved in that, and he did he did the interview. He just sat back and watched, and he didn't feel all that great, but he was engaged, and he asked hard questions of all of them, and right to the point where we made this change. He was, literally 3 days before he passed away, he was, on side and saying, yeah, we've got to do this, and it was Mike Penny that brought up Claude, and Pat said, yeah, he's a good guy, and Mike thought he'd be good, and so Pat thought he'd.
It's not inconceivable Pat would have ended up coaching the Giants if his health would have been better.
Pat was healthy, he would have done it. Yeah. He loved the game, and the game meant more to him than most things, and him and Gordy were very similar in that, where the game was bigger than life, and you respected the game, and the game was bigger than you were, and so everything they did was around, advancing the game and promoting the game, and we're gonna miss him so much. It's immeasurable. I don't know how to answer it. How you could measure that. He was our best friend at the end of the day, and it was
yeah.